Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes life puts us on pause, and relationships are no exception. A man might disappear, step away, or seem distant. But then one day he's back. He comes knocking, reaching out, trying to bridge that gap again. You might wonder, why now? What changed? Let's explore the truth behind why men return after no contact. Now, listen carefully. This isn't about games or tricks. This is about understanding human nature, emotions, and the power of connection. And remember, what you allow into your life determines what stays. Ladies, let me leave you with this. You are not a convenience. You are not someone's plan B. If a man returns, it's not enough for him to show up. He has to show up right. He must be ready to respect, value, and commit to you. And if he doesn't, let him go, because you deserve more than words. You deserve action. Stay true to yourself. Keep your standards high. And never forget the power you hold within. When a man steps away from a relationship or connection, it often leaves the other person wondering what is going through his mind. Silence, while unsettling, creates a unique space for reflection, and for men, this time apart can be profoundly transformative. Unlike constant engagement where emotions and thoughts are clouded by immediate reactions and circumstances, silence offers clarity. It provides a moment to step back, take stock of feelings, and assess what truly matters. During this period, a man begins to examine not just the relationship, but also himself, his priorities, and his understanding of the bond he shared. In the quiet moments, without the distractions of daily interactions or the noise of external influences, emotions often rise to the surface. Men, like anyone else, are not immune to the power of reflection. Silence forces them to sit with their thoughts, whether they want to or not. They may find themselves replaying conversations, moments of laughter, or even conflicts. These memories are not just idle recollections, they are opportunities to understand the depth of their feelings. They start to weigh the importance of the relationship and, more importantly, the role the other person played in their lives. This period of reflection often brings clarity about things that were overlooked or taken for granted. In the hustle and bustle of a relationship, it's easy to focus on superficial aspects or get caught up in the routine. But when all of that fades into the background, the meaningful parts, the kindness, support, and shared dreams begin to stand out. Men often realize the value of what they had only when it's no longer immediately accessible. This realization can stir a range of emotions from regret to gratitude, and it begins to reshape their perspective on the relationship. Silence also gives men a chance to confront their own feelings and insecurities. Sometimes stepping away is not about the other person, but about their internal struggles. Relationships can bring vulnerabilities to the forefront, and silence becomes a space where they can process these emotions without judgment. They may reflect on fears they were unwilling to admit, mistakes they made, or unresolved issues from the past. This introspection can be challenging, but it is often necessary for growth. It allows them to identify patterns, understand their behavior, and recognize what they need to change to be better partners. This period apart lets men assess what they truly want in their lives. When a relationship is in motion, it's easy to get swept up in the dynamics without pausing to evaluate if it aligns with their long-term goals or values. Silence offers that pause. It's a moment to think about compatibility, shared visions for the future, and whether the relationship is something they genuinely want to invest in. This is not about questioning the other person's worth, but about understanding their own readiness and commitment. The absence of communication also highlights the emotional void left behind. Men may find themselves missing not just the companionship, but also the specific qualities the other person brought into their lives. Whether it's the way they felt supported, understood, or challenged, these are things that become more apparent when they're no longer there. This emotional longing is a powerful motivator for reflection. It forces them to confront whether their life feels full or empty without the connection. And that realization often becomes a catalyst for reaching out again. In some cases, silence serves as a mirror. It reflects back to men the role they played in the relationship and how their actions or inactions impacted the other person. This self-awareness can be humbling. It's in this stillness that they may come to terms with mistakes they made or opportunities they missed to strengthen the bond. This understanding doesn't always lead to immediate action, but it plants a seed of growth that can influence their future choices. Silence, while challenging, is not inherently negative. It is a space where growth happens, where emotions are processed, and where clarity is found. Men often use this time to reflect on who they were in the relationship and who they want to become. They begin to see the relationship not just as it was, but as it could be. This reflection doesn't guarantee a return, but it explains why, when they do come back, it's often with a deeper understanding of what the connection meant to them. In essence, silence is a powerful teacher. It strips away the distractions and forces men to confront their thoughts, emotions, and priorities. It's in this quiet space that they begin to understand the value of what they had, the role the other person played in their lives, and the potential they see moving forward. This reflection, though invisible to the outside world, is often the first step in a journey of growth, realization, and sometimes reconciliation. Absence is a curious force in human relationships, one that holds a profound power to shape emotions and perceptions. When someone is no longer present, their absence leaves a void that cannot be ignored. It has a way of making us reevaluate, reflect, and rediscover the significance of their presence in our lives. This phenomenon, often encapsulated in the phrase absence makes the heart grow fonder, goes far beyond mere sentiment. It touches on the psychology of human connection and the ways in which distance can deepen appreciation, evoke longing, and sometimes reignite dormant feelings. When someone we care about is no longer readily accessible, their absence creates space for reflection. In the day-to-day rhythm of relationships, it's easy to become accustomed to someone's presence, to take for granted the small gestures, conversations, and shared experiences that build the foundation of connection. Absence disrupts this routine. It forces us to confront life without that person, and doing so highlights the role they played in shaping our emotional landscape. The void left behind often brings a new clarity, making us more aware of the ways they added value, comfort, or joy to our lives. This space also allows us to confront our own feelings in a way that constant interaction does not. When someone is present, it's easy to focus on surface-level dynamics, momentary frustrations, minor disagreements, or even the comfort of their availability. Absence removes these distractions, leaving only the essence of the relationship to be examined. It's in this silence and distance that emotions become clearer. We begin to discern what truly matters and what we might have overlooked while caught up in the immediacy of daily life. Absence also magnifies the emotional significance of memories. The moments shared with someone, whether mundane or extraordinary, take on a new weight when they are no longer readily accessible. A laugh shared over coffee, the comfort of their voice, or even the way they made us feel understood, all these memories come rushing back with a vividness that might have been dulled in their continuous presence. This heightened awareness of the past not only rekindles emotions, but also reshapes how we perceive the relationship as a whole. Another aspect of absence is its ability to stir curiosity and longing. When someone steps away, the natural human response is to wonder about them, what they're doing, how they're feeling, and if they're thinking of us. This curiosity can be powerful, drawing attention to the connection in ways that constant proximity often cannot. It creates a sense of anticipation, a hope for reconnection, and a renewed interest in the relationship. Longing, in this sense, is not just about missing someone, it's about realizing the depth of the bond and the desire to preserve it. At its core, absence also evokes a sense of vulnerability. It reminds us of the impermanence of relationships and the fragile nature of human connections. When someone we care about is no longer around, we are forced to confront what life feels like without them. This vulnerability can be humbling, making us more appreciative of the moments we do share and more aware of the effort required to maintain meaningful relationships. It's a reminder that connection is not something to be taken lightly, but something to be nurtured and valued. For many, absence becomes a catalyst for growth. It challenges us to reflect not only on the other person, but also on ourselves. In their absence, we may find ourselves thinking about what we brought to the relationship, how we could have been better, or what we might need to change in the future. This self-reflection can lead to personal development, a deeper understanding of our own emotions, and a greater capacity for empathy and connection. In some cases, absence also provides an opportunity to reframe the relationship. Distance can offer a new perspective, helping us see not just the good, but also the challenges or patterns that might have been overlooked. This broader view can lead to important realizations, whether it's recognizing the relationship's value or understanding why it might not have been the right fit. Recognizing the relationship's value or understanding why it might not have been the right fit. Cures. Absence is not just about the physical distance between two people. It's about the emotional journey it sparks, the memories it brings to the surface, and the truths it reveals about connection and loss. While it can be a source of longing and heartache, it can also be a transformative force, deepening appreciation, fostering growth, and sometimes paving the way for a stronger, more meaningful bond. Curiosity and the fear of losing someone are deeply intertwined emotions that play a significant role in human relationships. When a person steps away or establishes boundaries, it often triggers a reaction in the other person that stems from these two interconnected feelings. This combination of curiosity and fear has a powerful influence on how we perceive relationships and what we are willing to do to maintain or rekindle them. For men in particular, this dynamic can be a driving force behind their decision to return after a period of no contact. Curiosity is a natural response to uncertainty, and relationships are no exception. When someone distances themselves, it creates a gap in understanding, a space filled with unanswered questions and speculation. For a man, the absence of communication can spark a deep sense of wonder about what the other person is doing, thinking, or feeling. He may begin to imagine scenarios, question his own actions, and replay moments from the relationship, trying to piece together a narrative that explains the current distance. This mental exercise isn't just idle thought. It's a reflection of how much the connection meant to him, even if he didn't fully recognize it at the time. Either way, the power of absence lies in its ability to illuminate truths that proximity, often the absence of information, can amplify this curiosity. Social media, mutual friends, or even the lack of these outlets can leave a man searching for clues. He may wonder if you've moved on, if you're happier without him, or if you've even noticed his absence. This sense of not knowing creates a compelling pull that can keep someone's thoughts centered on the person they are no longer in contact with. Curiosity isn't just about seeking answers, it's also about understanding the emotional impact of the separation and the possibilities that still exist. This curiosity often intertwines with the fear of loss, a primal and deeply emotional response to the realization that something or someone important might be slipping away. For many men, the fear of losing someone they care about only becomes clear when faced with the possibility of that loss becoming permanent. In the routine of a relationship, it's easy to take things for granted or assume that the connection will always be there. But when distance or silence enters the picture, it forces a reevaluation of that assumption. The fear of losing someone is not just about the person themselves, but also about the role they play in one's life. It's the realization that their presence brought a unique sense of comfort, understanding, or joy that cannot easily be replaced. This fear can feel like a sudden awakening, a jolt that disrupts complacency and prompts a deeper appreciation for what was shared. It's a powerful motivator, one that can inspire action, whether it's reaching out, attempting to rebuild the relationship, or making meaningful changes to avoid repeating past mistakes. At the heart of this fear is the awareness that opportunities are not infinite. Time apart can highlight the fragility of relationships and the need to act before it's too late. A man might start to consider what life would look like if he let the connection fade, and that thought can be deeply unsettling. He may imagine someone else stepping into the space he once occupied, sharing moments and memories that could have been his. This visualization of loss is not only painful, but also a catalyst for reflection and a renewed desire to fight for what he values. Curiosity and fear often work in tandem, creating a feedback loop that heightens emotional intensity. The more questions a man has about what you're doing or feeling, the stronger his fear of losing you becomes. This fear, in turn, fuels further curiosity as he seeks reassurance or evidence that the bond is still salvageable. This emotional cycle can be both confusing and clarifying, pushing him to confront feelings he may have suppressed or overlooked. These emotions are heightened when the person who has distanced themselves displays strength, independence, or happiness. For a man, seeing you thrive without him can trigger a mix of admiration, regret, and urgency. It reminds him of the qualities that drew him to you in the first place, while also underscoring the risk of losing someone who is clearly capable of moving on and flourishing. This realization can be both humbling and motivating, prompting him to reassess his priorities and consider what he's willing to do to reconnect. Curiosity and the fear of losing you are not just reactions to distance, they are reflections of the emotional significance of the relationship. They reveal the depth of feelings that may not have been fully acknowledged before and serve as powerful drivers for introspection and change. These emotions remind us of the importance of what we had, the potential of what could be, and the cost of letting it slip away. Growth and realizations often emerge in the stillness of separation, when the distractions of daily interactions fade and there is space to truly think, feel, and reflect. For men, time away from a relationship can be a period of significant personal development. It allows them to confront their inner thoughts, examine their emotions, and understand the role they played in the dynamics of the connection. This process of growth is not always immediate, but it is often profound, reshaping their perspectives and preparing them for potential reconnection or the next chapter of their lives. When a man steps away from a relationship, it is often an opportunity for self-assessment. In the absence of constant engagement, he has the time to think deeply about who he is, what he wants, and how he has been navigating his relationships. This reflection often begins with evaluating his own behavior. He may revisit moments of conflict, replay conversations, and examine how his actions or inactions impacted the relationship. This introspection can be uncomfortable, as it forces him to acknowledge mistakes, shortcomings, or patterns of behavior that he might have ignored in the moment. However, it is through this discomfort that growth begins. The realizations that come from this self-reflection are pivotal. A man might come to understand how his fears, insecurities, or unresolved issues from the past influence his decisions. He may see how these factors led to misunderstandings, emotional distance, or actions that hurt the person he cared about. This awareness is often the first step toward change, as it allows him to recognize the areas in which he needs to grow. Whether it's learning to communicate more openly, managing his emotions, or building trust, these realizations provide a roadmap for personal development. Beyond self-assessment, time apart also allows a man to think about the relationship itself. Distance provides clarity, helping him to see the connection more objectively. He may come to appreciate the qualities and strengths of the other person in ways he hadn't before. In the rush of daily life, it's easy to overlook the small, meaningful contributions that a partner makes, their support, their understanding, their unique perspective on the world. Absence highlights these aspects, often making him realize just how much they meant to him. This recognition can evoke a sense of gratitude and a deeper appreciation for what was shared. At the same time, a man may also come to terms with the challenges of the relationship. Growth is not just about recognizing what went right. It's also about understanding what didn't work. Time apart allows him to see patterns, identify recurring issues, and think critically about the dynamics that led to conflict or dissatisfaction. These realizations are not about placing blame, but about gaining insight into how both partners contributed to the relationship's successes and struggles. This balanced perspective is essential for growth, as it fosters accountability and a willingness to make meaningful changes. Personal growth during this period often extends beyond the relationship itself. A man might use the time to focus on his own goals, values, and aspirations. He may pursue personal or professional development, explore his interests, or work on improving his mental and emotional well-being. This process of self-discovery is transformative, as it allows him to become more aligned with his true self. It's in this alignment that he finds the strength and confidence to approach relationships in a healthier, more intentional way. Realizations about the importance of connection and vulnerability also play a significant role in this growth. Men are often conditioned to suppress their emotions or view vulnerability as a weakness. However, time apart can challenge these notions, as the emotional impact of losing a connection forces them to confront their feelings. They begin to see vulnerability not as a flaw, but as a necessary component of genuine intimacy and trust. This shift in perspective is critical, as it enables them to approach relationships with greater authenticity and emotional availability. Growth and realizations during separation also have a way of reshaping priorities. A man may come to understand what truly matters to him in a relationship, qualities like mutual respect, shared values, and emotional connection. He may also recognize the importance of effort, consistency, and communication in maintaining a healthy partnership. These insights often lead to a renewed commitment to nurturing meaningful relationships, whether it's by seeking reconciliation or by approaching future connections with greater intention. Ultimately, the growth and realizations that arise during a period of no contact are a testament to the transformative power of reflection. They represent the inner work that is necessary for personal evolution and the capacity to build stronger, more fulfilling relationships. This process is not always easy, but it is through this journey of self-discovery that men often find clarity, purpose, and the tools to move forward with greater wisdom and understanding. Unfinished business is a concept that resonates deeply in relationships, especially when connections are left unresolved. It is the lingering sense that something important remains unsaid, undone, or unexplored, creating an emotional weight that is hard to ignore. For men, the notion of unfinished business often becomes a driving force for reflection and potential reconciliation after a period of no contact. It's a powerful motivator that can lead them to revisit the past, confront their feelings, and seek closure or continuation. When a relationship ends or goes silent without a clear resolution, it leaves behind questions and ambiguities. These unresolved elements have a way of staying in the background, influencing thoughts and emotions. A man may find himself revisiting moments from the relationship, trying to make sense of what went wrong or what could have been done differently. These recurring thoughts are not just idle reflections. They stem from a need for understanding and a desire to bring clarity to the situation. The lack of closure keeps the door open, even if only slightly, making it difficult to fully move on. The emotional pull of unfinished business is rooted in the human tendency to seek resolution. Relationships are built on connections, and when those connections are disrupted without explanation or closure, it creates a sense of imbalance. For men, this imbalance often manifests as a nagging feeling that they've left something important undone. They may question whether they gave enough effort, communicated effectively, or truly expressed their feelings. These doubts linger, prompting a deeper examination of their actions and the relationship as a whole. This sense of incompleteness is heightened by the memories that resurface during periods of no contact. The mind has a way of replaying significant moments, both good and bad, when given the space to reflect. A man may find himself thinking about the laughter shared, the support given, or even the conflicts that were never fully resolved. These memories serve as reminders of the connection's significance, reinforcing the idea that there is still something meaningful left to address. This realization often stirs a mix of emotions, from regret and longing to hope and determination. Unfinished business is also closely tied to the concept of missed opportunities. When a relationship ends abruptly or without a clear understanding of why, it can leave a man wondering about what might have been. He may think about the potential that was left unrealized, the plans that were made but never fulfilled, the growth that could have occurred, or the experiences that were yet to be shared. This sense of lost potential is a powerful motivator as it keeps the focus on what remains possible rather than what has been lost. In some cases, unfinished business serves as a catalyst for self-awareness and growth. The unresolved nature of the connection forces a man to confront his own role in the relationship's trajectory. He may begin to recognize patterns in his behavior, understand how his actions contributed to the outcome, and identify areas where he needs to grow. This introspection is not always easy, but it is often necessary to address the lingering sense of incompletion. By acknowledging his own shortcomings and learning from them, he takes the first steps toward resolving the emotional weight of unfinished business. The passage of time also plays a significant role in amplifying the feeling of unfinished business. As days, weeks, or months go by without communication, the distance can provide perspective. A man may begin to see the relationship in a new light, recognizing its value and importance more clearly than before. He may also come to understand the impact of the unresolved issues on his emotional well-being. This growing awareness often strengthens his desire to address the unfinished business, whether by seeking closure, offering an apology, or attempting to rebuild the connection. Unfinished business is not always about rekindling a relationship. Sometimes it's about finding peace. For men, this may mean reaching out to express unspoken feelings, clarify misunderstandings, or simply acknowledge the significance of the connection. The act of addressing unresolved issues can be cathartic, providing a sense of relief and closure that allows both parties to move forward with greater clarity. It's about honoring the relationship and its impact, even if the ultimate outcome is not reconciliation. Unfinished business is a reflection of the emotional depth and complexity of relationships. It highlights the importance of communication, understanding, and effort in building and maintaining connections. For men, addressing unfinished business is not just about resolving the past, it's about learning from it, growing through it, and finding a path forward that honors both the relationship and their own emotional journey. Strength and independence are qualities that radiate an undeniable energy, shaping not only how others perceive you, but also how you navigate the world and your relationships. These attributes are not just traits, they are a testament to resilience, self-awareness, and the ability to thrive even in the face of challenges. For men, encounter a woman who embodies strength and independence can be both inspiring and transformative, leaving an indelible impression that lingers even in her absence. Strength is not just about enduring hardships, but about the grace and determination with which you rise above them. It's the ability to face life's trials without losing your sense of self, to weather storms and emerge with your values intact. When a man observes this kind of strength, it commands respect. It shows him that you are not defined by circumstances, but by how you respond to them. This resilience becomes a beacon, reminding him of the courage it takes to stand firm in one's identity and aspirations. It also challenges him to reflect on his own life, inspiring him to rise to the same level of authenticity and resolve. Independence, on the other hand, is the foundation of true freedom. It speaks to your ability to chart your own course, make decisions that align with your goals, and cultivate a life that fulfills you. Independence is not about rejecting connection, but about understanding that your worth is not tied to someone else's validation. It's about building a sense of completeness within yourself so that any relationship you enter becomes a choice rather than a necessity. This sense of self-reliance can be magnetic as it conveys confidence and purpose, qualities that are deeply attractive and rare. When a man sees you embracing your independence, it challenges conventional dynamics and reshapes his understanding of relationships. It forces him to acknowledge that you are not seeking completion from another person, but rather companionship that enhances your already full life. This realization can be both humbling and motivating as it sets a standard for the kind of partnership you deserve, one rooted in mutual respect, equality, and shared growth. It also communicates that your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee, encouraging him to bring his best self to the table. The combination of strength and independence creates an aura of authenticity that cannot be ignored. It's not about perfection, but about being unapologetically yourself, embracing your flaws, and celebrating your strengths. This authenticity is what makes you memorable. It shows that you are grounded in who you are, unafraid to set boundaries, and confident enough to walk away from situations that no longer serve you. For men, this level of self-assuredness is both intriguing and challenging, as it disrupts the notion of dependency that often underpins traditional relationships. Your strength and independence also shift the focus from external validation to internal fulfillment. You are not defined by someone's attention or approval. Instead, you find joy and purpose in your own journey. This self-contained happiness creates a powerful impression as it demonstrates that you are whole and complete in yourself. It also sets the tone for healthier relationships, where both partners are equally invested in their personal growth and the success of the connection. This balance creates a dynamic that is both empowering and inspiring, fostering a deeper level of intimacy and understanding. In moments of no contact, your strength and independence leave an even stronger imprint. When a man sees that you are thriving without his presence, it sends a clear message. You are capable of moving forward, building a life of meaning and fulfillment on your own terms. This realization can stir a mix of emotions, admiration, regret, and a renewed sense of urgency to reconnect. It forces him to reflect on what he may have overlooked and to reconsider the value of the relationship. Your ability to stand tall and move forward without hesitation becomes a testament to your resilience and self-worth, leaving an impression that is hard to forget. Your independence doesn't mean you are invulnerable. It means you choose vulnerability with care. You are willing to share your emotions and open your heart, but only with those who respect and value it. This balance between strength and vulnerability is what makes your independence truly remarkable. It shows that while you are fully capable of standing alone, you also understand the beauty of connection and the power of shared experiences. For men, this duality is both captivating and thought-provoking, encouraging them to meet you at your level and appreciate the depth of your character. Strength and independence are not just qualities you possess, they are statements of who you are and what you stand for. They reflect a life lived with intention, a refusal to settle for anything less than what aligns with your values and dreams. For men, encountering this combination is a reminder of the power of authenticity and the beauty of a connection built on respect and equality. Your strength and independence are not just qualities, they are legacies, shaping the relationships you form and the lives you touch. In the end, why men return after no contact often boils down to the undeniable impact you left on their lives. It's your strength, your independence, your authenticity, and the way you carried yourself even in their absence. Time and distance have a way of amplifying what truly matters, and when a man sees what he might lose or has already lost, it stirs something deep within him. But the most important takeaway is this: their return is not what defines your worth. Whether they come back or not, your power lies in knowing who you are, standing firm in your values, and never settling for less than you deserve. Because when you're whole on your own, the people meant to be in your life will recognize and cherish that, and the rest will simply fade into the background.